Hello and welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Jonathan Mansour.
Hey everyone, I'm Darek Beeman.
What's up, Titan Sports fans? I'm Joseph Bianchini.
Hey everybody, I'm Isabella Lyons. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get the ball rolling.
Venezuela defeated the United States 3-2 to win the World Baseball Classic Championship this past Tuesday night at Lone Depot Park in Miami. In a tightly contested game, Venezuela struck first. Michael Garcia's third-inning sacrifice fly and Wilyer Abreu's fifth-inning homers on a fly ball to center field built a 2-0 lead. Team USA had two singles and did not move a runner past first base until the eighth inning, when Bryce Harper launched a two-run home run to tie the game at 2-2, shifting momentum and energizing the American dugout. However, Venezuela answered immediately at the top of the ninth inning. Eugenio Suarez delivered an RBI double to give his team a 3-2 lead and secured the win. The win marks Venezuela's first World Baseball Classic title, capping off a dominant tournament run. Despite the loss, Team USA remained competitive throughout the game on the mound, but struggled offensively, finishing with limited hits against Venezuela's pitching. Venezuela celebrates a historic championship, while the United States falls short in the final for the second consecutive tournament. So with Venezuela taking away the game in the top of the ninth, what do you guys think the U.S. could have improved on earlier on in the game to help secure them this victory?
Easy answer is offense. They went absolutely silent. And credit to Eduardo Rodriguez, he pitched an absolute gem. But this team only had 3 hits, and in the last 13 innings, combining the game, going back to the game against the DR, they had a batting average of .073 and struck out 17 times. Pitching and defense did its job, but Venezuela came into this game averaging over 6 runs. So pitching only held them to 3 runs. They did their job, defense did their job, but offense, all tournament really just was not what we expected. Aaron Judge, he had 3 strikeouts in the finale. And then, it was really tough to see, David Bednar and Mason Miller be able to pitch because of their MLB franchise kind of restricting them to. Just a heartbreaker, but man, congratulations to Venezuela. They absolutely deserved it. They were such a fun team to watch all around, and the WBC as a whole was just amazing.
I think I was expecting a lot more from Aaron Judge coming into this. Even with someone who doesn't have the best postseason play, he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. I think as far as the USA goes, if we could have pitched around Venezuela a little bit more and got them to swing and miss, it would have been a different story. And of course, having Mason Miller not pitch for us was, that was a tough one. He was unhittable in the WBC. Of course, they were honoring the Padres' wishes. But with Garrett Whitlock, he immediately gave off a leadoff walk, and then even though the USA was able to tie the game with the 2-run homer, Venezuela getting that go-ahead run in the ninth just really solidified the game for them.
I just think it's unacceptable on the USA's part. This is the second straight tournament that you end up in second place. It seems like we watch every other team in this tournament. Venezuela, who ended up being the champions, they flew under the radar the entire time, but the vibes were high with them. The Dominican Republic were having fun. We know what Japan and Italy was the unsung hero of this tournament, and it felt like all tournament the USA didn't feel like a cohesive team. It felt like a group of individuals playing on the same team just here for the tournament before the MLB season, whereas these other countries, it really felt like they bought into the World Baseball Classic as a whole, and I think that was reflective. It didn't feel like a cohesive effort in this one. They fall down 2-0. The bats don't do anything the entire game. Right when the bats click a little bit, Bryce Harper does what Bryce Harper does, hits a home run late in the game, then the pitching slips up. It just felt like it never clicked from top to bottom, from the lineup to the rotation to the bullpen this tournament, and the Mason Miller thing is unacceptable. He's only available for a save situation, so if the game was 2-1 going into that ninth inning, he would have been fine, but because it was 2-2, he can't. It makes no sense. I think the USA, for the second straight year, really let down the country, really let down baseball fans, and it was reflective because they're runner-ups yet again.
Yeah, and then quickly to add, the U.S. came into this game with an advantage, if you think about it, because Venezuela was playing on a back-to-back. USA played on Sunday against the Dominican Republic, so their whole bullpen should have been fresh. It's very unacceptable, like you said, for them to lose, especially since it's a second WBC in a row where they lose in a final.
The NFL offseason continues to heat up with more important trades and free agency signings trickling in over the past week. First up, the Kansas City Chiefs traded a 6th-round pick to the Jets for QB Justin Fields. Fields was benched last season after throwing for just 1,259 yards on 7 touchdowns in 9 starts. But the Chiefs see someone that they can develop into a serviceable starter while Patrick Mahomes recovers from his torn ACL. The San Francisco 49ers added more help to the hands department Monday, signing veteran wide receiver Christian Kirk. Kirk will have ample opportunity to bounce back in the Bay after having the fewest receiving yards of his career last season, with 239 in 13 games played for the Texans. Lastly, get ready for some waddling in the Empower Field end zone next season as Denver Broncos have traded for Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle. Denver paid a steep price, giving up 3 draft picks for Waddle, but now have one of the fastest receivers in the league to go across from Courtland Sutton. Now, speaking of Jalen Waddle and the Dolphins, I do need to talk about the dead money with the Dolphins. $175 million in dead money. That's more than half of your money going to guys that aren't even on your roster. Of course, they're still paying Tua Tagovailoa $50 million. They're paying Jalen Waddle $26.3 million, Tyreek $28.2 million. He's not even signed to a team yet. And I actually looked at the numbers online. Mike McDaniel, over $30,000 a day, which is crazy that he's still getting paid. And in conclusion, I think that we're not going to have enough money, the Dolphins at least, to bring in the new talent that we're going to need now that we don't have Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. And this is going to be Malik Willis's first season with Miami. He was very efficient in Green Bay when he had to come in for Jordan Love, but who's he going to throw to? Tutu Atwell? I mean, he can hand the ball off to Devon Aching, but they do have 11 draft picks this year. I think what they could do is maybe tank 2026 and try to get some more draft picks for 2027.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're going to commit to the rebuild, you commit to the rebuild. Regardless of dead money, it's a lot and it hurts you in the short term. But this Miami team, I think we saw their peak those years with Mike McDonald and the deep shots with Waddle and Tua. You've got Achane and Mostert. It was this incredible offense, but they were limited by Tua. They were limited on the defensive side of the ball. And I want to talk Denver a little bit here because they gave up a first, a third, and a fourth. On Miami's side, I think that's the haul it takes to trade Jalen Waddle. So I think that's fine. You're restocking for the future. For Denver, the wide receiver position, it was Courtland Sutton and, as Steve Smith likes to say, a bunch of Jags, just the guys, right? You've got Troy Franklin, you've got Marvin Mims, you've got these other guys. But I think that what Jalen Waddle does is he's a field stretcher. He can separate in man coverage due to his speed. Bo Nix struggled more than anyone against zone coverage last year. I don't think that's going to change. I don't think Jalen Waddle necessarily changes that. New offensive coordinator, Davis Webb's going to be calling the plays instead of Sean Payton. Maybe that changes things, but I just think on Denver's side, you're giving up a lot of capital for a guy that doesn't really fix your issue, which is beating zone coverage. I don't know if I love it. I think it makes sense because the wide receiver position wasn't the greatest in Denver, but I just don't think it really addresses their true need as a team and as an offense specifically.
I just want to touch more on how Justin Fields going to Kansas City was a great option for them, as now they don't have to rush Patrick Mahomes' recovery here. Like you previously stated, I feel like he will really complement their new running back, Kenneth Walker, as well. I feel like they can create some great dynamics with their play action. And along with that, they just have an athletic skills room. They've got Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. I think this will be very beneficial for them.
Yeah, I agree about the Fields thing. The Fields trade by Kansas City for a lot of things that you mentioned, and as well, when Patrick Mahomes comes back, I can see him kind of being used as like a Taysom Hill. He can be very flexible, especially in the red zone. He can be kind of like a quarterback that you can have that can maybe run some QB draws just by himself. And then back to the Waddle for Denver thing. Personally, if I'm Denver, you got to be really happy because you now have a wide receiver that can complement Courtland Sutton really well. Waddle can be your deep explosive threat, while Sutton, he kind of is like your big body kind of technician. So for Bo Nix, Sean Payne, and Davis Webb, this is an amazing trade. Doesn't matter the haul that you gave up because you are in a win-now state. So those picks do not matter.
Yeah, like you said, with a win-now state, especially with their record last season, I really agree with that statement.
A battle for the third seed took place Monday night in a clutch city as the Los Angeles Lakers took on the Houston Rockets in the first game of a back-to-back series. The game swung back and forth throughout the first half. Jabari Smith and Kevin Durant paced the Rockets' scoring attack, leading them to a 6-point advantage at the break. Despite the lead growing to 10, the Lakers stole momentum midway through the third, going on a 23-7 run sparked by Luka Doncic, who finished with a game-high 36 points. The fourth quarter saw both teams unable to buy a bucket, but a clutch three from Marcus Smart and a DeAndre Ayton putback jam put the icing on the cake, securing a 100-92 win for LA. Houston's offense completely disappeared in the second half. They committed 17 turnovers, and Kevin Durant was held scoreless before a garbage time layup. In their second meeting last night, the Lakers pulled away from the Rockets late to secure their 7th straight win. The Lakers still hold the 3 seed in the West by 1.5 games. Big difference when we're looking at Game 1 and Game 2 between the Lakers and Rockets. On Monday, both offenses just completely struggled. Game 2 on Wednesday, the Lakers got hot. They shot 60% from the field.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron, 13 for 14 from the field. He put up 35 and 2, which is incredible at his age, when a lot of people that are talking on the broadcast, like, he's kind of considered the third option on this team now, which is kind of crazy. But I think it's impossible to talk Lakers right now without talking about Luka Doncic. MVP level play right now. It's truly incredible. This is why everyone freaked out a year ago when he got traded from Dallas, because of this. He's capable of doing this. In last night's game against the Rockets, Game 2, the Rockets, the Lakers were controlling, then the Rockets start storming back, and then your superstar takes over 49 and 10. He was a rebound short of a triple-double. It just feels like when he's hitting his shots late into seasons like this, it was impossible for anyone to beat the Mavericks, and I think it's going to be impossible for people to beat the Lakers. And I think we've been so set on OKC and San Antonio as the top 2 dogs in the West, and I don't like the Lakers, but I hate to admit it. It kind of feels like a 3-horse race now, not just a 2-horse race like we had been talking about previously.
Yeah, and touching up on the first game, the Rockets actually out-rebounded the Lakers 44-32, which is a very important factor in the game. But as previously stated, Houston had 22 turnovers compared to the Lakers having only 11. So when you give up the ball less, you have more opportunities to score. And touching up on what you said, with the Lakers, when their superstars are hitting, they're going to be a very hard force to stop.
Yeah, kind of going back to that first game, I think this was a great way to start their 6-game road trip. Didn't start too hot for them, though, with Kevin Durant getting the Rockets started off with a 9-4 lead. But it was very offense-heavy early on with Luka Doncic, 16 points in the first quarter, reading the defense well, quick natural shots, and Austin Reeves was able to find LeBron quickly.
As you mentioned it, they are in the midst of a very tough stretch. They do have this long stretch of road games right now, and previously they had games against the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And now beating the Rockets, you have a tiebreaker over all 3 of those teams who are in that race for the 3 seed. And you want the 3 seed because, one, it gives you home court advantage, and you get to avoid Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs, who are probably going to be the 1 seed. Now, because tonight the Lakers play against the Miami Heat, you can afford to lose a game, which is great because you're not losing to a Western Conference team, so they're not gaining an advantage on you. But speaking of great, Joseph, I heard Titans baseball is playing great.
Yeah, Lakers on a hot streak. So is Cal State Fullerton Titans baseball right now, as Cal State Fullerton baseball defeated UC Irvine in a 3-game sweep at Goodwin Field. In its Big West home opener on March 13th, CSUF took an 8-3 win. UC Irvine struck first, taking a 1-0 lead in the top of the second inning on a solo home run. But Paul Contreras quickly responded, tying the game at 1-1 with a solo shot over the left field wall in the bottom half of the inning. In the third inning, Contreras also hit a blooper to right field, bringing in Eli Lopez to give the Titans a 2-1 lead. After both squads were knotted at 3 later on, the Titans eventually ran away with it, thanks to a 5-run bottom of the 7th inning, capped off by an anteater error to score the final 2 runs. CSUF secured its second victory March 14th with a 9-5 win. Fullerton came out strong, tying a season high with 7 runs in the first inning. Eli Lopez and Cameron Kim opened that inning with a single and a double to put runners on second and third. From there, the Titans kept the line moving, bringing 10 batters to the plate and collecting 5 total hits. In the final game of the series on March 15th, CSUF swept the weekend victory with an 8-6 win. UC Irvine took an early 4-0 lead after scoring 4 runs in the top of the third inning. Fullerton first chipped away at the deficit on an Eli Lopez RBI single in the 5th inning that brought home Nico Lombardi and cut the deficit to 4-1. Just like the opener, the Titans had another dominant inning late in the game, batting around and bringing home 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th. With another win in the books, the Titans will look to carry the momentum throughout conference play. So guys, UC Irvine were the champions last year. They were number 1 in the Big West, and Cal State Fullerton's second conference series of the league of the year, they sweep them. You can't ask for a much better start than 5-1 in league and sweeping the team that was at the top of the mountain last year.
I feel like with them sweeping UCI, I think this really showed their ability to pitch here. They had 19 strikeouts across the 3-game series, and I feel like if they want to beat Northridge coming up in their next matchup, they should really try to utilize that pitching.
Yeah, especially the bullpen. The bullpen only allowed 3 runs the whole weekend series. Very nice to see. The pitching staff collected 28 strikeouts and 8 strikeouts by Micah Negretti, who he's just a strikeout machine, dating back also to last season. And on the offense, give credit to the offense. They had 31 total hits. Eli Lopez, 5 for 11, 3 RBIs. Paul Contreras, 5 for 11, 4 RBIs, a home run, and 2 stolen bases. He would go on to hit a home run against UNLV on Tuesday, where the Titans unfortunately lost, but it's okay because it wasn't a conference game, so it doesn't hurt you that much. And then Nick Miller, what a sight to see. This guy, he only started in 4 games last year. He started every game this year so far, and he had a very nice weekend himself. So big series coming up against CSUF, and keep racking up those big conference wins.
Yeah, important series win for Fullerton. This is the first UCI sweep since 2018. They set a 5-1 in conference play now. Micah Negretti worked his way out of a bases-loaded situation in the 7th. He had elite control. He only allowed 3 runs on 11 hits, struck out season-high 8 batters, and issued just 1 walk. I think that Game 3 really showed the Titans' resilience, though, because they were down 4-0, and they were able to slowly just cut that deficit by patient bats. Even though UCI capitalized scoring in the top of the 8th, Fullerton was really able to move runners, put the ball in play, and avoid strikeouts.
Talking about that last game, let's give some love to Bobby Mahoney. Comes in after the tough start, pitches 3 2/3 innings, no hits, 4 strikeouts. Really unbelievable to kind of buy that Titans offense some time to get back in the game. They're really proving they can win games different types of ways, and that's going to be huge early in the season, but especially as we get on with the Big West season later on, April, May, and so on. Coming up after the break, Jonathan will give us his best March Madness picks, which are just as awful as the Chargers' offensive line, unfortunately. Stay tuned.
I have a question about
As Joseph mentioned, it is March Madness. And yes, the Chargers might be making me mad this March, but March Madness kind of cheers me up sometimes. So we have 32 games to go through. I'm going to give you guys my predictions. Starting off in the eastern side of the bracket, we have the 1 seed Duke. I'm not even going to mention the 16 seed, sorry. They're moving on. Ohio State, TCU. This game actually just wrapped up. TCU moved on, and they were going to be my prediction. So 2 for 2 so far. Yeah, I'm calling Duke a win right now. And then St. John's, Northern Ohio. St. John's absolutely got snubbed with the 5 seed. I thought they should have been higher. They'll dog walk Northern Iowa. Kansas, Cal Baptist. Beautiful story by Cal Baptist. You know, they're right here in Riverside. Give me Darren Peterson. Louisville, South Florida. Louisville currently is up against South Florida, so we're just going to move them on to the next, to the round of 32. Michigan State, North Dakota State. Battle of the States. Give me Tom Izzo. UCLA, UCF. There is big rumblings that Donovan Dent, UCLA star, might miss this game. I'm going to go with an upset. Give me UCF. Then UConn, give me Dan Hurley. Moving on to the west side. Arizona, Long Island. Give me Arizona. The Wildcats have been great all year. Braden Berries, he's gonna cook. Villanova, Utah State. I like the 9 seed. Give me Utah State. Wisconsin, High Point. This game is currently going on, and it is already living up to the hype. It is a high-scoring affair. I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I think they hang on. Arkansas, Hawaii. Hawaii, your Big West run is over. Out of here. Cal State Fullerton is coming up next. Give me Arkansas. BYU, Texas. Texas had a really great game in the first 4, but I like BYU. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Give me Mark Few and the Zags. Miami, Florida versus Missouri. This game, I think, can go really either way, but I'm going to go with Miami. And then Purdue versus Queens. Queens of North Carolina. Queens is supposed to be in New York. Give me Purdue. Now, let's move on to the next side of the bracket, which is going to be the South region that features the defending national champs. Give me Florida to move on to the round of 32. Clemson, Iowa. I'm going to go with Clemson, not Iowa. Iowa's pretty boring. Let's go with Clemson. Vanderbilt, McNeese. Who wants to see another McNeese Cinderella story? I sure do. Give me McNeese. Nebraska, Troy. This game ended already. Nebraska blew out Troy. Congratulations to the Cornhuskers, their first NCAA tournament win. And then North Carolina, VCU. Caleb Wilson, he is out. And ever since he got hurt, North Carolina has been struggling. Give me VCU. Illinois versus Penn. I would love to see an Ivy League school go on a little Cinderella run. But unfortunately, Illinois, their offense is just too good. They have straight up snipers from deep. Give me Illinois. St. Mary's, Texas A&M. Last year, I picked against St. Mary's. Am I going to learn my lesson? No. Give me Texas A&M. Houston, Idaho. What is this? We're picking out potatoes? Give me Houston. Michigan, Howard. Give me the 1 seed. Michigan, Darek. I know you're going to talk about them later. Go Michigan, I guess. Georgia, St. Louis. Give me Georgia, the Bulldogs. They are a really good team. I like the Georgia. Texas Tech, Akron. Give me the upset. Give me Akron. Texas Tech, they don't have JT Toppin. I like Akron in that one. Alabama versus Hofstra. This one, I'm going back and forth. You know, Alabama, they lost a key player this past week due to him getting arrested. I don't know what I want to go with, but I'm going to go with Alabama for the sole purpose of Latrell Wrightsell, former Cal State Fullerton basketball player. He is on that team. Give me Roll Tide. Tennessee versus Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio had to prove themselves in the first four after losing their first game in their conference tournament. I'm going to go with Miami, Ohio. Let's have them prove the haters wrong. Now, Virginia versus Wright State. I'm going Virginia. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. I'm going to go with the upset here. Give me the team from up north, Santa Clara. And then Iowa State, Tennessee State. Give me the Cyclones. So that wraps up my predictions. They're going to be all right. Everything's going to be right. So if you want to quickly make a bracket with my predictions, go ahead and beat your friends in the bracket predictions. But guys, I'm going to toss it back to you. What do you guys think is going to happen in March? What do you think of my picks, first of all? And what are some games that you guys are looking forward to?
Yeah, I gotta say, I joked going to break that your bracket was horrible and stuff. That was just kind of a jab at the Chargers. Honestly, I agree with a lot of the takes, but I especially want to talk Miami, Ohio. I think a lot of years you see these teams playing the first 4 games in Dayton, and they win, and they really carry that momentum, and they can win 1 or 2 games. And this Miami, Ohio team, they're very hot and cold. Boy, do they chuck a lot of threes, and if they get hot, I don't think, regardless of conference, Tennessee, SEC, Big 12, whatever, if a team's hucking that many threes and they're hot like they were the other night, I don't see anyone beating them. So I think Tennessee could easily beat Miami, Ohio, but I like you taking the upset there because a lot of times those first 4 teams, they get hot and they stay hot going to the other rounds.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see Michigan in action with the number 1 seed playing against Howard. They've got Yasel Lendenborg and Elliot Cadeau. I'm really excited to see what they can do here on the offensive end.
First of all, give me UCF upsetting UCLA. My Trojans did not make it in, so I will be rooting for UCF in that game. But as far as hot takes go, St. John's, Northern Iowa. St. John's won Big East regular season, 20 points over UConn in the Big East tournament. Give me St. John's over Northern Iowa, even though Northern Iowa does have 3rd-ranked 3-point defense and top 30 in overall field goal percentage defense.
Yeah, I just checked. Donovan Dent, he is actually expected to play against UCF, and I still like UCF though. Come on, I don't really buy the UCLA hype. I'm a Michigan State guy, so they did beat Michigan State, which was heartbreaking, but I got Tom Izzo rebounding. A lot of people kind of moving on to the round of 32. A lot of people think Michigan State can get upset in the round 32. Personally, I don't see it though, but we still see. It is March, ladies and gentlemen. It is March. Smart. All right, that about wraps everything up. Thank you for tuning in. Please give us a follow on Instagram and X at TitanTVCSUF and on TikTok at TitanTV_CSUF. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of
Titan Sports.